thick oak. I'm leaving the mill marks like that. It oils up pretty cool. This guy was fun to get tight around that. So give it a go. Oh yeah. Okay, so last night, kind of line these up. This is for the emergency brake and allow for movement. It goes on at a weird angle, but this guy fits real nice around the ball. I probably won't be able to leave it like that. I have to see exactly how the engine's mounted. If it moves, because that goes right, the shifter goes right to the transmission. But I'm gonna let in just a little suggestion of a bullnose of a round, and I'm gonna smash rope in between these. And this cotton rope kind of acts like cotton duct. It swells up and clinches when it gets wet. But this is proofing cream I make up out of beeswax and neat's foot oil, and it's actually kind of good to put on your hands. But anyhow, that's what I'm doing next. Just come over here. Yeah, little bull nose. And I'll leave it enough to where when the boards, I clamp them together and screw them down. And just smash that rope in there. Got our little channels routed, and yeah, these are just temporary. I just happen to have copper small nails. I'm just going to give these a little tap to hold those in place. I want to clamp and screw everything together. Not using glue. I mean, it's going to see extreme weather, and again, this is just some proofing cream I made up. This is neat's foot oil and beeswax, and I put this in a larger coffee can. Save your coffee cans. But with water, boil it, and it melts the beeswax, and I pour the neat's foot oil in. I don't know what the ratio is. I don't know. Probably 2 parts beeswax, but yeah, I'm just gonna give it a nice coat. I'm going to pull this straight, not stretching it, because I want it to do what it's supposed to do when it rains. It gets wet. Keep the noise out, so I got to expand inside there. And we're just going to give it a little tag. Hands are covered in beeswax now. Just going to clip that to the other side. Okay, I put the other board up here, and I have a high spot around in here. So I'm just going to, my number 3 little guy, just kind of level it out. Now that should take care of that. Oh, where's the other guy? Here we go. here's the original, or well, I highly doubt that's the original, but this is what was in it. It worked, I mean, but just all the cracks and gaps and, you know, wood missing. You see through to the transmission and pavement. So I'm going to do a similar thing here, but I'm going to screw it. Use these simple guys. This is the underside, and they have little register marks to line it up. These aren't etched in stone yet. They're not cut where they're going to be exactly. And this is on a steep angle like that. As the floor from the firewall comes down on that angle, and this will overlap it. And this wood is just really nice and thick. It's at least an inch thick. This rough milled oak I have, but yeah, I'm just gonna use these guys to hold it straight, and then we'll do a test fit. Okay, so of course when you clamp, see that debris that wants to buckle up. There's nowhere for it to go. And I'm just going to use a stout piece of wood and clamp that. Clamp across there. It won't take a whole lot of pressure. Okay, I have little register marks where I want these to be. On this side, this side. If I have it one way or the other, you know, it'll interfere with the battery leads. And this is where I have the most clearance. And I'm just gonna mark where I want them and then drill them out. Okay, here's the one side, and I can get rid of this clamp. And I think I'm gonna have to trim these up. I might have to cut them shorter, and more about that later. Just where they lay into. Might require that. I leave everything a little bit long. It's easier to just trim than make a huge mistake. But there's our rope. I can pull those little nails out and trim that excess up. It'll be hidden in there. Now beeswax the ends and all the cracks, and give it the typical oiling. But I'm not going to bore you guys to death with doing this side. I'm going to do that and be back in a while. I put a little oil in here in the first video, and for these on this side, I wasn't thinking. There's some of the excess beeswax, and they just zipped right in. These little guys, these are gimbal bits, cabinet maker bits, whatever you want to call them. Look at that one, has an embossed swan floating on the waves. I think it's a swan, but these are like hen's teeth. It's taken me years to find 4 of these, and people don't know what they are. You know, you find these old toolboxes and they're empty except for like maybe that, because it looks like something. These are actually common little countersinks. Do not throw these away. People are like, oh, these are all rusty and whatnot, and they throw them away, and it's terrible. These are really, really hard to find, but they do a very specific thing for these slotted screws. Anybody tried turning a slotted screw? And you're using modern drill bits and stuff. They're cabinet bits, and they zip right in. They pull everything tight. Anyhow, yeah, don't throw that stuff away. Anybody has any of those, I don't want them. I'm gonna put some of the beeswax off my fingers on them, keep them rust free, but always looking for this stuff. Okay, let's see what we got. Undo our clamps. stubborn. Little bite mark, that's all right. Oh, look at this. Nice squeeze. Oh, that's beeswax. That's good. That's nice and tight. Really nice and tight. Now there's rope inside there. And beeswax is like nature's caulking. And bugs don't like beeswax. They like wood, they don't like beeswax. From what I'm told. There's just all kinds of bonus to it, but anyhow, see how she fits. Almost forgot. Tidy up our ends here. And I'll toss those back in the box and reuse them. Another day. Get that in a minute. Come on, bugger. Now, let me grab the phone. This is what it'll end up being. This line here, if it looks funny, but you know, squish a little beeswax in there. See what goes on. Moment of truth. Oh, I gotta flip this out of the way. All right. Oh yeah, let's see. Yeah, see the seat goes, this weird thing isn't, I want it to overlap. I want it to seal up kind of nice, but that's why I put this guy on such a sharp angle and I replace this plywood. It's just, I mean, this is falling apart. It's modern plywood. You know, put my finger through it there. But that's a footrest. This is your gas, your emergency brake. Up, and I have to notch out the bottom. See, it's lifting that. That's what those weird notches were on the bottom. I have to go a little further. Here's your brake and your clutch. And your starter, there's a button up here that goes right to the starter. You push that in and it starts it. This is your throttle. It's basically your idle. You do have a gas here. Pretty cool. And this is your timing. You advance the timing, I think, up here to start the thing, and then bring it down. Here's your choke, but it also turns, and I have to figure out to start it. I think it's like a turn and a half, and then it runs on like an 8th turn in. It pulls a needle out of a jet in the carburetor. It loads the bowl, I think. I haven't had the carburetor apart, but there's your headlights, and there's your high beams, there's your low beams, there's a rod going through, and none of that's hooked up. I don't know if it's working. Haven't gotten to that yet. That's your horn. Ooga, ooga. So, yep, this is, and it'll fit. I'm putting that wind lacing, that rope around under here, and everything will be nice and snug, I hope. And that's what I'm shooting for. I'll oil this up, take those lines out, and straighten those edges up. I oiled the other side and I forgot I wanted to plane all this one last time. And I'm gonna leave mill marks in as much as I can, but I'm gonna see if I can catch these guys down here, because this is getting weird to clamp. I'll go like this. handy homemade little extension block that fits in this guy here. Let's see. Yeah, no. Oh yeah. We're good. It's pretty flat, so I don't need a huge plane. I already have it pretty flat, so. Boy, tiny remnants of beeswax left on here. This thing just glides across this gnarly oak. Some hardwood. Okay, these are cabinet scrapers. More on how to sharpen them. You literally flatten them. It puts like the edge of the soup can, little burr on there. See that little fuzz? And there's a good chance if you experience one of these, you'll never buy sandpaper again. It's like a chance of that. These are a little pricey. It holds the card at a specific angle, and as you tighten it, it makes a little, so it doesn't leave like hard edges on the corner. It just takes out a little bitty bit. And I'm not doing, this isn't gonna be like a fine cabinet or whatever, but if you ever see like a cello builder, violin maker, I use these on my guitars. And to get the contours, and this is what they're doing. It looks like they're checking for a diameter, and in a sense they are, but they're actually putting the final finish on the wood with a card scraper. And that's one example. It's all different shapes, but you can find videos on that. But anybody wants to see a video on that, I could do a video on card scrapers. They're amazing. I'm just going to take some of the roughness down. You know, it's a pretty gnarly board. Like I said, I'm leaving the mill marks a little bit. I should have left it, wanted to leave a little more, but yeah. And it is just where your feet go. It's the floor. So, but I'm still gonna knock some of it down. Boosh dog. All right. Give her another go. We got her all oiled up. Nice layer of beeswax. And this is basically an extension of your hood, your trunk, or your hood. Your transmission, your battery. I might even give this a drop down handle. You can pull it up. It comes up easy enough. Get around the pedals. Drop that bugger in. This little fella here. And the rope trick I'm going to do to these boards over here. This one I might make hinge and lift out, but like I said, you know, the seat bracket goes here, and then for the backrest, this is the cotton rope I'm using. But I don't know if you saw the upholstery video. This is a really heavyweight cotton duct. This artist canvas, and I sewed, you know, for just miscellaneous weather stripping. I'm going to take this and it'll go all the way around and hopefully seal everything up nice. So there's a Inspector Doodle, and we're not going to use that wood quite yet. Maybe down the road, Pooch. And here's our door jamb. It's just setting in there. It lines up, it raises up, but he gets a picture. And there's one of our roof stringers that isn't oiled up yet, but got a nice little tiger oak going, and that goes across our ceiling up there. And the glove boxes will get that little wood accent. It'll follow this contour across there. It should look nice. I like it. There's a little rear window. And this guy, yeah, this plywood, this has to come out. So this wood will continue up and this wood will go down under that and set. That's why I cut that on such a steep angle. And again, there's your footrest. And there's your gas pedal. And there's your clutch and your brake. And up there, that's your starter. You push that button, turn the key. Here's your choke. You pull the choke out. There's your gauge. And that says 0. And that tank is over half full. So the float came up and it was literally just a cork. So I'm gonna have to address that. It's a special tool I have to buy that holds this guy and takes that out, and you pull that out. You have to empty the gas tank. That's literally the gas tank. If you look up here, that's where you fill the gas. And there's an arm, I believe it's probably copper, and it bends off so you don't hit it with the gas nozzle, and it literally has a cork on the end. There's a specific length that it's supposed to be, but drain the gas, which is going to be good. Anyways, we'll clean that gas tank out. Might have rust in it and crud want to get out of there, but that's the gas gauge right there. And that's an auxiliary map light. There's a steering wheel. So you pull that out and a little light comes on. Kind of neat. Okay, I want to say thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If there's anything on here you liked, please give me a thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.